So that will fully fund them for their air purifiers for their classrooms. So as we know, it is Basic Education and Literacy Month. So we tried to keep that in mind when we were talking about getting speakers and whatnot. Just some reminders. We have the high tea, District Governor Darrell's high tea coming up. So if you want to join that, the Zoom link is in the calendar on DAC-DB. We have the Infinite Possibilities also, and that's coming up on the 25th, and that is another 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So that as well as on Zoom, and the link is in DAC-DB. And then we also have our movie night coming up. So at the end of the month, on the 29th, we are going to be showing the movie Brett, and that's going to be, it's a polio story. It has some sad moments. I haven't watched the whole thing yet because I didn't want to ruin it for the night, but it also has some very inspiring moments, and it's a true story. So I thought that was very relevant, and we're going to launch some of our popcorn for polio. Doug will be preparing pizza that night, so it'll be $15. That includes your pizza, your popcorn, and your contribution to polio, and anything over and above that that you wish to do is on your own, and that's at your discretion. And the Women's Build. I just got an email this morning from Christina at Habitat. They are starting to fill up. Right now, we have about 7 women signed up, I believe. So if you have not signed up and would like to, please go on and register and let me know. We are securing the dates, and I think right now we're looking at October 17th and October 31st. They're only allowing about 5 people right now. If that changes, then we will adjust. So you can choose between those 2 dates. So whoever's committed to doing that, I will be reaching out to you to confirm those dates. Alrighty. And then we do have a couple of birthdays. And so we have Lisa Marie Bartlett's birthday, and Janet Tron, and Miss Karen Curran. So happy birthday to you all. Hope you have a special day on your actual day. I think yours is this weekend, right? Sunday. Yeah. Well, happy birthday this weekend. I don't think we have any anniversaries to celebrate. And at this time, I'm going to ask that, I think it's Carol, are you going to introduce the speaker?
Sure. Let me get my cheat sheet. I'd like to introduce Marina Bunch. She is the Clinical Director of Infant and Early Childhood Mental Health Services. She earned a bachelor's degree in psychology in 2004 and a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling in 2011. She is currently pursuing a PhD in counselor education and supervision with a specialization in leadership. Marina completed her requirements for licensure in 2013 and earned her qualified supervisor certification in 2016. Marina has been working with children and families since 2006. Prior to her current position as clinical director of infant and early childhood mental health, she oversaw the Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorders Clinic at the Florida Center. She specializes in the areas of infant, early childhood mental health, and fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, and has presented on various related topics. Marina has experience and training in various evidence-based practices such as child-parent psychotherapy, fussy baby, oh, I remember that one, circle of security parenting, trust-based relational intervention, and families moving forward. Marina is married with 2 little girls, and she enjoys spending time with her family, staying active, and traveling. Having a healthy and loving family and a career and personal life balance is of utmost importance. Welcome, Marina.
Thank you so much. So thank you for having me here today. I'm going to give you guys a brief overview of our agency and the services that we provide. And please feel free to, I have a brief PowerPoint to go over, but if there's anything that I don't cover or that you guys want to know more about, just feel free to jump in or ask questions at the end. So I'll share my screen. everybody see that? Perfect. Okay. All right. Thank you for the introduction, Carol. So again, my name is Marina, and I am the Clinical Director of Infant and Early Childhood Mental Health Services at the Florida Center for Early Childhood. We do a lot at the Florida Center, so I'll briefly explain to you guys our programs and a little bit about what we do in a nutshell. Our mission, first and foremost, is to build and foster strong families and expand the potential of young children. So we have offices, we have our main office is in Sarasota, and we also have a satellite office in Northport. And we specialize in early childhood and work with families. So in terms of what is early childhood, we know that early childhood is a period of birth through 8. And why is it so important? Well, it's so important because it's a critical time for brain development. We know that most brain growth and connections made for the rest of our life are made in the various earliest years. So we know that brain development in this time is highly influenced by environment. So it's a wonderful time for us to be able to get in there and intervene and make lasting and sustainable changes for these children and families. So, what's the need? Why early childhood in our community? Well, we know that 1 out of every 4 young children is at risk for a developmental delay or disability. Developmental disabilities are a group of conditions due to an impairment in physical, learning, language, or behavior areas. And these conditions may impact daily functioning, and if left untreated, can last throughout a person's lifetime. Also, at the Florida Center, we not only work with children who have developmental delays or developmental disabilities, but many of the families that we work with children have experienced trauma, various environmental stressors, and those are the areas in which we focus also through our services. So we have 7 programs at the Florida Center. Our biggest program is our Healthy Families program. So as you guys can see, it's an award-winning home visiting program. And the main focus of Healthy Families is to prevent child abuse and neglect. And we service high-risk families in Sarasota, DeSoto, and Charlotte counties. So most of our employees in Healthy Families are paraprofessionals that go into the home, and how often they go depends on where the families are at in the program, but it might be once a week, bi-weekly, or once a month, again, depending on where they're at. And we also actually have mental health therapists that, we have 2 mental health therapists that are also working specifically with this program that provide mental health therapy services in the home or in the office for many of these families. And then we have the Starfish Academy, which we have in both of our locations, our, actually physical locations. So in Sarasota and in Northport. And so at the Starfish Academy, we have littles up to 5 years of age. So we have VPK as well. And our Starfish Academy is an inclusion-based preschool. So we have children with developmental delays, or disabilities, learning alongside of typically developing children. And one interesting thing that we have in our Starfish Academy that it's been going on 2 years now as a result of some funding from the Barancic Foundation is that we've been able to fund 2 full-time mental health therapists to actually be embedded at the Starfish Academy, and they're there to support the teachers. They're there to support the parents and the children. So they're just infused in the day-to-day of the Starfish Academy, which is really unique and really is a need in our community in general. At the Florida Center, we also offer developmental therapies, and we offer that in both of our locations as well. So we have occupational therapists and speech and language pathologists to focus on a variety of, developmental disabilities, of course, speech and language delays, sensory processing, fine and gross motor skills delays. And then mental health. It is also a really rapidly growing program at the Florida Center. We have outpatient mental health therapy services in both Sarasota and in our Northport locations. And for outpatient mental health, we get referrals from a variety of sources for a variety of reasons. So we get referrals from the school system. We get referrals from pediatricians' offices. We also very often work with the foster care system too, child welfare. So we get many referrals from child welfare, children who, whose parents are working on reunifying or foster and adoptive parents. We had a, in our annual report, there was a story that was featured about a little boy named Miles who was, who we were called to do what's called a bonding study between Miles and his foster parent. And essentially what that is just an evaluation of attachment and bonding. And as a result of that bonding study, that aided in the adoption of this child, and we've worked with the family since to continue that post-adoption success and just that healthy relationship in his new home. And we are also, as a result of a contract with the school board of Sarasota County, we have 25 therapists kind of spread around in 25 different elementary schools throughout Sarasota County, which again is rapidly growing. We went from having two schools a few years back to now being in almost every single school in Sarasota County. So that's a wonderful thing. Then we also have our fetal alcohol spectrum disorders clinic, and it is Florida's only clinic providing diagnostics assessments and intervention services for children impacted by alcohol exposure in utero. The fetal alcohol clinic actually doesn't just evaluate children. We've evaluated little bitty children, like newborns. And I think maybe the oldest person that we evaluated through our clinic was a 50-year-old person exposed to alcohol. So we get those referrals from all over Florida. We're funded by the state, and there is a huge need. And we're actually scheduling evaluations out at the end of March of 2021. So definitely a huge need in our state for these services. And then we also have our early childhood court program, which is essentially a developmentally informed approach to the child welfare system. So for children 0 to 5 years of age who have been removed from their parents for a variety of reasons, those families can choose to be in early childhood court. And essentially what that is they're going to receive intensive services, mental health, a team approach that really wraps around the family with the intention of either reunifying the child with that family, with those parents sooner, or providing permanency for those children, understanding that young children need to be in a permanent and stable environment. So just a little bit about the Florida Center. We celebrated 40 years last year. So we were founded in 1979. We serve approximately, over 3,000 children and families each year. More than 90% of each dollar goes back to our programs, and we operate on a budget of nearly $7.5 million. And you can see here our revenue sources, government, individuals, and community, and service fees. So for mental health specifically, we bill Medicaid and other insurances. just some ways you can support the Florida Center. We love volunteers, you know, so volunteers for our committees, board service. We have various volunteers in our classrooms. Of course, COVID has changed that a little bit, but we hope to be able to, you know, have our volunteers back working with kids. Of course, contribute and support local events, sponsor and donate, and advocate within the community. I'll stop sharing my screen, and then I'm happy to answer any questions that, it's hard to do these presentations when you can't see everybody's faces. It's, you know, like this weird thing about Zoom. You can't read body language, but I'm happy to answer. I know that was a very brief overview, so I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have about our programs and what we do.
Anybody in the room have any questions? The question is, has COVID impacted how you get your referrals, being that you're not in session?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a pretty steady stream of referrals, you know, for our mental health program. It, I mean, COVID has been, it's created, it's been interesting this year. We had to quickly move to, when we closed in March, our services didn't stop, but we had to move from seeing people face-to-face to telehealth. And so we opened back up June 1st to seeing people face-to-face again, but we're doing a mixture of telehealth and face-to-face services. So fortunately, I mean, I would say that there was kind of a dip in our referrals, but we're steadily getting back there and having a pretty steady stream of referrals.
Okay, so your pre-K, like your Starfish program and whatnot, has that resumed?
It has resumed. Yes, it has. We resumed back in June. So actually my window right here is right next to the playground. So the kids are out there and they're playing, and we have smaller numbers in our classrooms, and a lot of protocols to keep everyone safe. But yeah, we are operating in both of our locations. Our Starfish Academy is.
Okay, and about how many students are you seeing that are enrolled in person?
So in our preschool, I would say, without telling you exact numbers, we probably have about 40 here, and we're below capacity, but we have about 40 in Sarasota. I think we have about 30 right now and down in Northport, which is a bit below our capacity, but we have to keep our classrooms smaller.
Right.
Do you have a program where one worker works with one family on an over an extended time period?
Yeah, I think it depends on what program are you referring to, Kenneth? I mean, certainly through mental health, we do, absolutely. So at our mental health therapies, we might be with a family for a year or even more, depending on what the need is. But yes, absolutely, it's not uncommon for us to work with a family for a very long time.
Would it be the same person working with the family all the time?
Ideally, yes. Ideally, yes. And I'm just trying to think of our programs in which we would do that. That could happen through our developmental therapies, that, you know, a child may have the same therapist and be with us for, I would say, even up to a year. Certainly through our mental health department, a therapist could follow the family for up to a year. Healthy Families program, the home visiting program, those families can, if those families are involved with us for 5 years. And we have pretty good retention of staff. And so a lot of times it's that same person that's involved with that family, which is wonderful.
Are you funded entirely by the state?
We are not funded entirely by the state. It depends on our program. So we have 7 programs, and they're each funded differently. But we're kind of funded by a patchwork of funding sources. So we do have funding from the state of Florida. We have county funding from Manatee and Sarasota County, donors within the community as well, different foundations. And also for mental health, we do rely on Medicaid billing and other insurances, but primarily Medicaid. So kind of just patchwork to make.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Marina, what, besides the funding, what is your greatest need at this time?
Our greatest need. Oh, we have lots of needs. One of our big needs is always training of staff, I would say. That's a big need that we have. We pride ourselves in being experts in what we do, and but with that comes an expense of training staff. So that certainly is a need that's ongoing for us.
Okay. And anything related specific to COVID, as we know, schools are going back in session and they're, having to go through some items that they haven't had to before. Is there any safety issues, technology, any of those types of things that would impact greatly your program?
Yeah, we do certainly have technology needs. We also have had to spend, specifically when we're talking about our Starfish Academy, our numbers are decreased, which obviously has made the budget tight for that program. And also with the protocols that we have to have in place for cleaning, we've had to we've had to spend a lot of money to have additional cleaning every single day. So that is certainly a need for us as well.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions in the room? Okay. Anybody else on Zoom have any questions?
Do you use volunteers?
Alfred's got a question.
There's a question about, was that
Question.
volunteers, I think? Is that what you asked, Kenneth?
Yes.
Yeah, we love volunteers, 100%. There's different ways that a person could volunteer here at the Florida Center. And like I was saying, one way is, in the classrooms, or just, there's a variety of ways. So if anyone is interested in volunteering, you can certainly contact our HR department where we can talk to you about the various ways in which you can volunteer at either one of our locations.
Okay, Marina, there was a question in the room about, have you seen an increase in the alcohol consumption or referrals in the last 4 or 5 months since COVID?
I would say that we have seen an increase in substance abuse in general. Yes, unfortunately, a lot of our families that were doing well have had some struggles, and we've seen relapse. So yes, we have.
Okay. Anything else from anybody? Okay, well, we really appreciate your presentation. And for your presentation, Marina, I know you're not here in person and this is different than how we normally do things, but we do have a certificate that I will send to you. Here it is. And we will make a donation in your name to Polio Plus, which is Rotary's one big mission that we're very close to completing. So that will go out in your name. And thank you for your presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here today. And if there are any other questions, just shoot them my way. I'm happy to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you very much, everyone. Take care.
You too.
Okay, moving on. So I kept saying that we were going to bring back the Sarge and the Happy Dollars this week. So Walt suggested that I have retrieved a little Happy Dollar box. So if anybody wants to come up and put $1 in or whatever you choose to put in and tell us what you're happy or sad about, we'll resume that. But we just are not going to do it, kind of how we've been doing it for a little bit. And anybody who wants to participate on Zoom can do it as well. And we will just keep a tally. And like I said, if for the different things that we're doing, like the 50-50 and whatnot, we can just invoice monthly or quarterly, however we decide that works best. And you guys can pay those items, through the PayPal link or send in a check, whichever you prefer. Tony.
I think it should be changing after the sad dollars to got a dollar.
Karen.
If I may, my old club, what they would do is when they would come up to the podium and pay a happy dollar, they would explain to everyone why they were happy. And I think that was a lot of fun. We tried to limit it to something so the meeting didn't go on forever. So if you have something you're happy about and want to put something in the little box, by all means do so. And I will start out with a happy dollar from Zoom that I'm happy to be a member of this club, number one. And I'm happy that the NFL will start their televised games this week. So I'm looking forward to the NFL games. They probably won't have many people in the stands, but I've been a football fan for many, many years. I won't go into how many quite. Well, maybe I will. 60 maybe. Anyway, I'll put in $5. I'll commit to $5 happy fine to get it started.
Oh, thank you, Walt. All right, you got the floor, Karen.
Okay, I have two happy dollars. First of all, Alfred's daughter and son-in-law, Marty and Stephen, are flying in on Friday to help me celebrate my birthday, so I'm always grateful to turn another year older. And on top of that, Stephen, Alfred's son-in-law, and myself are big, huge Eagles fans, Philadelphia Eagles fans, and they happen to have a comedy game on Sunday afternoon, so you know what Stephen and I will be doing.
That's right. Yay, thank you. Alfred's gonna go next.
I'd like to give a happy dollar for my bride, maintaining 29 years of age. Awesome. And
I gotta correct the check I just wrote then.
This is a happy, healthy dollar. Thank goodness. I think the pneumonia viruses or bugs are gone. So
Yeah.
hallelujah.
Yay, thank you, thank you. Anybody on Zoom
Yeah.
want to do a happy dollar? Brenda, you gotta unmute.
I would like to put in a couple happy dollars. One, actually, I'm going to put in three. One, because some of you may know, Rudy and I celebrated our 30th anniversary, and that was a miracle in itself. And the second was because happy dollar because we were on vacation, went camping. I sat and read 3 books and just did nothing for 10 days. So that was awesome. And then the third, I just a shout out to Brookdale Rotunda, and thank goodness the governor opened us back up so families can come in and visit now and see their loved ones and spend an hour with them a week where they can still socially distance, but at least they get to see them face to face now. So we're really excited about that.
Correct. Yay, thank you, Brenda. Chris has one.
I just want to give a happy dollar because like Tony said, I can't. Question for Brenda.
Yes.
I have contacted my pen pal and I haven't heard anything. Has anybody heard from their pen pal? Response.
Do you know if anybody's been communicating, Brenda? Back on you.
Yeah, I couldn't hear her.
She said that she's reached out to her pen pal and has not heard back, and she was just following up to find out if that was just something that just delayed because of time or if there's an issue.
Okay, I have not heard of that, but like I said, I've been gone for a week, a little week plus, so let me check into it and I'll find out if they received anything.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I'll give a happy.
Deb,
I have two
if
happy
anybody
dollars.
comes up to the podium and talks, have them put the mic closer to their mouth.
Okay. All right. So who else did we have on Zoom? Kathy?
I said,
Yep. So I'll put in $2. One for, we had a really nice family weekend this weekend celebrating my hubby's birthday. Is he there?
Yeah. He is.
And a second one to thank him for buying me a really nice new car.
He said he bought a car and sold a boat for his birthday.
How old are you?
Third.
Third.
Third in a year, total two. He's an Uber driver.
That's right. Okay, we have Julia next.
Yeah, limo driver. All right, one happy dollar. Thank you, Ryan, for joining us today at our meeting. Hope we didn't scare you off at all. And thank goodness I had the long weekend to do my yard work. My yard is much improved and my muscles are very sore. Definitely an accountant.
Tony next.
So I did not have just $1. All I had was a 5. So I figured I'd make the best use.
Oh. Thank God it's not Alfred.
And since it's COVID, I'm not going to reach in there and pull out one.
No, that's fine.
On your question about the pen pal, these give our United States Postal Service opportunity if you're using it by mail, because I have been waiting. I've lost a car title in the mail. I've had 4 or 5 pieces of mail that just gone aimlessly missing. And I had bought a pellet smoker back in March, okay, March or April. And it was dented, and the manufacturer said, we'll send you those parts right away. They were delivered today. And I'm sore also because I put up a shed this week.
All right, anybody else on Zoom that wants to do happy dollars? Sad dollars?
I have 5. I'll give you $5. My daughter had a breast cancer operation about 10 days ago, and as she was coming out of surgery, they said they might have to go in and do a second one. But after they looked at the pathology, they said, no, you don't have to have a second operation. And that was a real joy.
Oh, that's wonderful news, Ken. I'm glad to hear that. His daughter has been battling breast cancer, and she went in for some testing, and they have decided that they do not need to do another surgery. So that's good news. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for sharing. I also have a happy dollar. My youngest granddaughter turned 1 yesterday.
Yeah.
Only one.
Cute pictures.
So anybody else, either in the room? Go, Blaze.
Can you take the poster off so we can see who's talking?
It was my birthday this weekend. I had a great time with the family. On my birthday, bought my wife another car, sold my boat. So it was a great weekend all around. And we're going to be doing our first road trip starting next Wednesday. So first trip of the year.
Where you going?
Savannah.
And we may or may not survive.
Are you going?
Yes. So that'll be Patrick in the driver's seat.
Oh, thank God, it's not that.
So we do have our own Uber driver for that. That's true. Okay, and if everybody else is good, everybody that wanted to contribute has? All right, so we will move on, and thank you all very much for that. So we're gonna go ahead and draw numbers for the football pool. There's some question. I know Brenda's been out of town, and Julia and I, and we've all been kind of going back and forth. But so we do have to do some work on the board yet, but we are going to go ahead and draw the numbers. So at least we have that part done in person. So I'm going to let Julia come up, and if you want to select somebody to.
Tony, do you have money in the game? No. All right.
Deb, did we sell them all?
No.
How can we draw numbers then?
Well, we're just drawing the grid numbers right now, just so that we can have a conversation, because I don't know where we're at with it. So we figured we'd at least draw the numbers. If we need to do something different with it, we can, but at least the numbers will be drawn.
Oh, another one? 4, 8, 5, 3, 7, 10, 9.
And if anybody is still interested in a square, we still have them available.
Yeah. $125, we need to sell more squares. Donations to the school.
Yeah.
Six.
Well, and as you guys know, this is one of our early fundraisers. We do get quite a bit of income off of this, so it will support all of our initiatives. I really hope that we don't have to bypass it. But as I said, Brenda and Julia and I all need to reconvene with what was sold and where we're at, to get a final count on all of that.
Yeah, nice try. And I can take credit cards right now, maybe. I have it here.
Okay.
Got it?
All right, are we all set? Okay. All right, so those of you, I know you saw it in my message, we also last week on Zoom started the 50-50 5-card poker hand. And most of those on Zoom last week participated. And basically what the rundown is I have a tally sheet. So anybody who wants to get involved, a card is $1 per card. You have an option for 2 wild cards. So each week, so last week, everybody that was in drew. Each week we will have an opportunity to draw another card until you've reached all 5 cards. You can draw your wild cards at any time. So if you were not in part of that last week, you can get in this week and buy this week's card and last week's card. If you don't want to be in it, that's fine. It's just strictly a 50-50. It's just a different way of doing it to make it a little bit more fun to kind of extend it out. So anybody who wants to draw their card, I mean, obviously the people that are in last week will go ahead and draw those. Ed wants to get in. So I will have Ed come up and draw on the table here. I have the cards that are left. I will have Ed draw the card for last week and for this week. And there again, the same thing goes. We'll invoice you if you want to do it that way. So we have the 9 of clubs.
Lynn would like to play as well.
Cards. I'm sorry?
Lynn would like to play as well.
Okay.
Are you using 2 decks of cards?
We're gonna have to with the number of people that wanted to participate. So what I'm gonna do is cycle through the first deck first, and then we'll start with a fresh deck. Because we already started it with 1 deck, so we'll exhaust that first.
Can't you just put the cards back in after they draw?
Well, no, because that wouldn't make it true poker hand is out of the
Deb?
deck. Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
this is Walt. I think last week I bought 1 card plus I bought 2 wild cards. I would like to buy the other 4 cards right now to complete my hand.
Well, we can't do that either because that's not fair.
Why not?
Because you're drawing all the good cards. So that's why I said if you didn't participate before, you can draw the previous card and your 2 wild cards at any time. The other cards will draw on respective weeks, just to keep.
Okay, I'll draw 1 card more this week then.
Okay. All right, let me get Ed's written down. Okay. So we've got Ed's done. My stack over here. All right. You want to come up and write them in too, Julia, for me? Or are you doing something else? I can have Karen do it. All right. So you did not draw last week, correct? Or you did?
I did.
You did. Okay, who did not draw last week? So let Karen go first, so she can get last week's card and then this week's.
Oh, you need that.
I didn't draw last week.
Do
Okay.
you want to do it, Marie?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and from here?
Yep. So you're going to draw 2 cards. And then Marie, because you're not in person, I'll have Julia just pull 2 cards for you.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I put them over here?
Yep.
And you gave her $2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did Ed draw 2 cards?
Yes, he did.
Good draw.
Okay, Julian, you want to pull 2 cards for Marie,
Okay,
another newbie.
6
2
of clubs,
cards for Lynn.
6 of clubs, 5 of diamonds.
Okay, any other new participants that want to get in?
Lynn,
Oh, Lynn Doyler.
Oiler 2,
Yep,
5 of spades,
Lynn is 5 of spades.
3 of diamonds.
Okay. Now we'll go through those that participated last week and draw the next card in the succession. If you want to do your wild cards today, you can. That's up to you. You can wait to the end. It's totally up to you.
Carol, do you want to do your wild?
I'll do the wild cards.
Okay. So Carol is going to pull today's card and then the wild cards. You want both wild cards today, Carol? Okay.
Ace cards, 4 clubs. And
Right.
2 of diamonds. Ace of hearts.
Can you hear her okay? Okay, great.
I want to pull one of mine and one extra.
Okay,
Now the 4 of hearts. 10 of spades.
all right, so we got Kathy's. Blaze is up here. He's going to draw his card.
The diamonds.
He has 2 wild cards too. If he wants to take one, you can let him know.
Jack of
Ooh,
diamonds.
another check.
That's it.
No, that's it.
Oh, one wild card.
No, 2 wild cards. So that was your first one.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh.
So you have a 6
Because
of
last-
diamonds, 10 of
Kathy
diamonds.
told us to
8 of
draw for you
hearts,
last
Jack
Oh,
of
okay, you
diamonds.
got.
So yeah, you can.
Jack of diamonds, 8 of hearts, 10 of diamonds.
All right, Alfred, I think you had a card in from last week, did you not?
No, I think I did, but
Well, I have it on. You want to come draw another? Chris, go ahead.
Okay, I'll pay for last.
All right, so that's the paid file.
No, you need a big one, just need a bowl of steak.
Right.
How many?
What is it, 3 clubs?
Thank you.
We're up.
Paying for it there, otherwise we will bill you.
Might have had a 2 of hearts.
Might not want to go to Vegas.
I have one.
Right.
You had an 8 of clubs.
Oh, I knew it was gonna.
All right. Who else is on there that Julia's gonna go next? 9 of spades. Yes, you can draw your wild cards anytime. And if you are not present, if you got in and you're not present, obviously we'll pull your card for you for the successional weeks.
Tracy Hamill.
So Tracy, you have a card. Do you want just your card for today or do you want your wild cards?
You can do the wild cards.
Okay,
And Lynn wants 2 wild cards as well.
okay.
All right, 2 of spades. 6 of hearts.
Now, normally when we would do this, we would do it at check-in, just like a normal 50-50, but because we're doing it cross on Zoom, it's a little bit more.
King of
challenging.
hearts.
That was Lynn's wild
That
card?
was Tracy.
Okay. So now Lynn wants his wild cards.
Thriller. Oh, ace of spades.
Ace of spades,
8 of spades.
8 of spades. Nice.
And Ken Brennan.
Yeah,
And
I'll just take
You'd
my
like your-
regular card,
is today's card, or would you like your wild cards as well?
today's card.
Just today's card.
7 of hearts.
Ooh.
Okay, and I think there's a couple people on the back.
I would like to draw my card for today also.
Yeah.
All right. 7 of spades.
Is that for Walt?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I have a question also. If you
Yeah.
draw a deuce as a wild card, say the deuce of hearts, are all the deuces that you draw then later wild also, or just that one deuce of hearts?
No, they're not wild cards. They're just extra cards. Are they supposed to be wild cards as in
That's what they
wild or just
said.
2 extra cards?
2 extra cards. So you're making, out of the 7 cards, you're making your best 5 card hand.
No,
Right.
Okay, so they aren't actually wild, so you can't call
Correct.
them something else.
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry, I guess that's how I referred to them. Anybody else that needs to?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's got their cards. ready.
Valerie, she's not
Oh,
here.
okay. Valerie, go ahead and draw theirs for them.
Valerie.
No, she was on Zoom last time. Marcia. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. I will send a copy in the next Monday email. I will send a copy of this spreadsheet so everybody can kind of follow along with what's going on. But we'll kind of do this as we go through, and it's just something a little bit different to do instead of just a plain Jane 50/50. All right, and I think that pretty much concludes. Do we have any other announcements? Oh, I'm so sorry. Aside from trying to get the TV fixed for next week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Anybody have a shameless plug? Any announcements, advertisements, anything?
I do have a Rotary comment.
Wonderful.
Sorry. Okay. I was gonna say, I do have a Rotary moment. I read the current Rotary magazine, and it was refreshing to me to see that over the past few years, we've implemented a lot of the things that they are setting in pace as far as flexibility of meetings, trying new things, doing new memberships, allowing for corporate memberships, and really just shaking up how we define what we do so that we stay on top and stay current. I know the pandemic forced a lot even to accelerate plans, but it's been nice to see that we're still on the cutting edge of all that. A lot of the articles talked about the Rotary Youth Exchange and a lot of the other things that we've had in place for a while. So made me feel like we're on the right track. We're part of a huge organization, and you feel like, kind of like Carol's, you feel like the little engine tugging along, and you're not sure you're making a difference, but you are. So it's nice to know that little steps make a big difference.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, just a brief recap on the habitat before I reconvene here. So right now I have Kathy Castellano, Karen Current, Janet Shawn, Chris Cameron, Julia Mercier, and myself signed up. Is there anybody that I missed or that wants to sign up? Please let me know before I commit to the dates. I will get an email out and you guys will all choose the date that works best for us. But anybody else who wants to participate, they're only allowing 5 people on job site for social distancing. And it, you know, if you've ever been, most of it is outdoors or open air. I don't think that unless the house is enclosed, which I'm not sure what stage the homes are that we're going to be working on or at this point. But anything else? All right. Julia, do you want to lead us out with the 4-way pledge? All right.
All right, the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Number 1.
Is it the truth?
Number 2.
Is it fair to all?
Fair to all concerned.
3.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Number 4.
Will it be beneficial?
Beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Oh, okay. Awesome.
As far as the money for the pyramid,
Rob.
can you, how are you?
Blaze, did you talk to Shannon yet?
Not yet, not since. Yes,